What's up, YouTube? One Giant Rebuttal here, back with another video. I'm going to be rebutting Vincent Rappisardi again, also known as Big Blue and Bias, Chase Daniel to the New York Giants. I'll be doing a little bit of a different style. Instead of just showing the person's video and then rebutting that way, which a lot of people do, I want to continue to do that, but because of the length of his video, I just don't want to put out a 40-minute video. As I speak, I let you guys know the timestamps in the video that I stop or pause, or the length of the time that I am going to be rebutting to. So if you're really curious about Vince's video, by all means, go check out his content. If you like what you see from me, please like and subscribe. With no further ado, let's get into it. So the first point I want to rebut is everything before 2 minutes and 30 seconds, minus his opening. He talks about how Eli can't win the big game anymore, how the Giants are 23rd on offense. He goes on to blame Eli again, and he shows that bias. He shows that tunnel vision that he's so well known for, even though I think if he actually would expand on these points, would use the team as a whole, talk about the team as a whole, I think he'd be getting his point across so much better. I think he'd get more subscribers, but that's just me personally. It is what it is. But anyways, to rebut his points, the Giants are 29th in rushing. Even with Saquon as good as he performs. Again, today against the Eagles, they gave Saquon 17 touches in the first half. They give him 4 in the second half. This offense falls apart. Coincidence? Is that coaching or is that Eli Manning? I'm pretty sure that's coaching. That's not Eli Manning. Now, Eli Manning is limited. He's a game manager. He's not going to make all the big throws that he once did, but you can win with a game manager in this league. The Giants are a bad football team, you're right. But the point you always forget to talk about, Vince, is the fact that the Giants have 7 years of bad drafts, and you want Dave Gettleman in 1 year to fix everything that Jerry Reese has done. I don't care how many players he's let go. Still, a large part of this roster was given to Dave Gettleman by Jerry Reese. Like, what point are you going to try and make? Yeah, Eli Manning's bad, but talk about the team as a whole. Don't just focus on Eli Manning because you're not making your point. You could talk about Eli Manning till you're blue in the face. But if you're not going to talk about the negative on this team as a whole, you're just wasting your breath. Let's continue on. So I'm going to rebut points for about 3 minutes and 42 seconds, so about 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Talks about how Eli Manning's basically a game manager. Suggests the fact that if Giants only get 6 or 7 wins, that they will, have that hope, oh, look at what Eli Manning did, and keep Eli Manning for another year. There's no excuse to Eli Manning's play. He's not what he once was, and the Giants need to replace him. And no Giants fan thinks that Eli Manning is going to be a quarterback for this next season. Unless he takes a godly pay cut. Like they restructure his contract for a year, and he takes some godly pay cut where he's getting paid like $3 or $4 million. Let's face it, Eli Manning ain't going to do that. So the Giants are going to release him. And Vince always like, oh, well, if they only win 6 or 7 games. Well, you know what? If the Giants win 6 or 7 games, that's an improvement on last year. This is a new era with a new GM and a new coach. I'll take 6 and 7 wins after a 3-13 season. Shows improvement. Shows them where they need to improve. So next year, maybe the Giants can be competitive and contend for a playoff spot. Although next year, I'll be only looking for about 8-8, 9-7. That's my early prediction, but that's farther down the road. I don't mind my quarterback being a game manager. Because a game manager, in my eyes, one of the best game managers of all time was Troy Aikman. Played in back of a Hall of Fame offensive line, had a Hall of Fame running back and a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And that team was cohesive, played solid defense, and you can win like that in this league. You don't need a Patrick Mahomes. You don't need a Tom Brady. You put a solid team. You have a great offensive line. You have a good offensive line. I shouldn't say great. You got a good offensive line. You can run block and pass block well. You get a good defensive line. You can get after the quarterback. You're going to be in games. You're going to be competitive. If you can run the football and complete those third down throws when needed, you can win in this league. You don't got to be flashy. The Saints aren't a real flashy team. They play well, And Sean Payton's scheme is great. And yes, he is a creative offensive coordinator. But you look at the Saints, what are they doing to extend Drew Brees' career? They're running the football. If you run the football, it shows balance on offense. It keeps the pass rush off your quarterback, and it gives your quarterback time. Eli Manning hasn't had time all that much this year. I mean, hell, he just tied his dad in getting sacked 396 times in his career. That's 14th all time. And largely, those have come in the last 2 years. Bad offensive line play. Not all Eli Manning. Not defending Eli Manning, but it's not all Eli. Sorry, Vince. Let's keep going. All right. So I'm just going to make some quick comments. About 6 minutes, 42 seconds till about 12 minutes. He talks about Will Grier. He talks about Justin Herbert. Finally gets off the Eli Manning tunnel vision train that he likes to stay on a large portion of his videos. But again, talks about Will Grier, talks about Justin Herbert, makes some great points about both. I'm going to wait and hold off on Will Grier and Justin Herbert. My early thoughts is I like Herbert better than Grier, but that's because Herbert's getting more publicity, and I haven't had a chance to really check out Will Grier. But I started getting into the film study aspect of it after the Super Bowl's over, after all the college football games, bowl games have been played and the playoffs over. That's when I start getting into my study of that, because then you have your East-West Shrine games, you have your Senior Bowl games. So I'm going to hold off on comments, but for the most part, well spoken, well done, good job, Vince. All right, so he makes a couple different points from about 12 minutes to about 17 minutes. He talks about Cam Newton, talks about Michael Vick and Drew Brees. I agree with some of his statements. I disagree with others, but I'm not going to really go too into it about that, because obviously my channel is one giant rebuttal, so I'm going to stick to Giants content. He gets back on the Eli Manning tunnel vision train for a little bit and talks about how Eli Manning, again, is largely to blame, but how he likes Pat Shurmur. I'm lukewarm on Pat right now. Some of his play calls have me scratching my head, how he can get away from running Saquon in the second half in the Eagles game. I'm looking forward to Vince's video after this game, because he's going to have a lot to say about Eli, but again, I'll be back to rebutting those points. But for the most part, I disagree with him in some areas, agree with him in others, but really not much to say about this. He'll obviously get into it more later. So from about 17 minutes till the end of the video, Vince gets into Chase Daniels, and he finally gets into what his video is about. And I'm not crazy about Chase. If we really want Chase, I'm not going to spend a 4th round pick on him. You might give him for a 6th or 7th, even though we have multiple 4th round picks, especially after the compensatory pick that Vince talks about after releasing Patrick Omameh and Justin Pugh, or letting Justin Pugh walk to the Arizona Cardinals. But either way, I'm not crazy about Chase. If you're going to start Chase, you might as well just start Alex Taney next year. That's my thoughts on that. I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. I think there's better bridge options. I like Teddy Bridgewater. Vince is not as high on Teddy Bridgewater, but we can debate that later. Again, if you like Vince's content, or you want to check Vince's content out, obviously, because I'm not showing his face in this video like I did in the previous, but I'll be leaving a link to Vince's videos in my description. If you like what you saw from me, again, please like and subscribe. This is One Giant Rebuttal, signing off, and go Big Blue!